You know what that sound means. That was a two-handed clap. That was not just me. Damon is back. And man, is it good to have you back. I was very lonely behind the desk last week. It sucks to do a solo show. You and Kate are out and about. Kate's still not here. We would have Kate here, but...
Kate is running from the grind. You know, I just got back. That Titanic is a lovely sight.
I'm glad you made it back.
I made it back.
Not everybody does.
No, see, that was the journey. That's what took me so long.
Well, we're glad to have you back. I was sweating that for a little bit. I thought it was going to be a permanently solo show. Damon is back. Kate is still beneath the surface. We're still waiting on her to get back from the Titanic.
They heard banging. Might be her.
Damon, I know that you've been hard at work since you've been gone, and you have a lot to catch up on, and I can't wait to catch you up because women's hoops have been going crazy. Women's sports in general. Good. We'll talk about some softball, we'll talk about some basketball. I've got a lot to run by you. Mm-hmm. My tease for the WNBA segment is that we are about... the Fever have played 12 games.
Okay.
So they're not quite a third of the way through their schedule yet.
Mm-hmm.
They already have 5 wins as of last night. They beat the Storm last night to improve to 5-7. Are they a good team? Not quite, but they're better than a lot of other teams. And if you bet them to win 11 games like I did, I'm feeling fantastic.
Wow,
they're on pace for 16, 17-ish wins. The Fever are good. We're going to talk about some other teams that are good.
And I hear they're in playoff positioning so far.
Yeah, a lot of teams are. We'll talk about that. There are a lot of teams that are good, a lot of teams not so good. We're going to talk about all of them. Let's get into it. A little tailing and fading.
Okay, yes,
The boys back behind the table. Sir, I'll start us off.
Go for it.
I had a lot of things to talk about last week, but it didn't really work without the reaction. So I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad to have someone to bounce them off of. The first concept that I'm tailing is the name Aaliyah. And people named Aaliyah. It's a very hot name right now in sports. We got Aaliyah Boston, is not only the runaway for Rookie of the Year, is easily an all-star this year.
Yeah, player of the month.
Aaliyah Edwards was a dog last year for UConn on the poster. She'll be back this year. Very pumped to see her back on the court.
Yes, sir.
I'll take you to the diamond. Aaliyah Andrews.
All right.
She plays for Athletes Unlimited Softball. They change the teams all the time. She's on Team Leach right now in the yellow jerseys. She is an unreal center fielder. She makes crazy good defensive plays. She at least made the ESPN Instagram. I don't know if she made the top 10, but she was on social media a bunch on Monday night. Just a pair of diving catches, insanely athletic, really good plays. Aaliyah Andrews. I don't know how her bat is. I didn't look into her stats, but in defense, she's an electric center fielder. And Athletes Unlimited is awesome. There's obviously always a lot of things to watch. They make it pretty easy to watch. It's on ESPN Networks and ESPN Plus.
Shout out AU.
Shout out AU. They make it easy to watch. The announcers are great. They bring the energy. Love that. The players are fun to watch. They have a lot of personality. Shout out friend of a friend of the pod, Peyton St. George of Duke. 2-time game MVP, which is a good thing, and threw a complete game last night. And FSU ace, Catherine Sandercock, who threw... Was it a no-hitter or a perfect game?
At least a no-hitter.
It was a no-hitter. It was a no-hitter in the Super Regional against South Carolina. So she will be making her debut very soon. She was a top pick. It's just good softball to watch. If you're missing out on softball, that's the place to find it. AU is very fun right now.
So I'd be interested. Aaliyah, I have here Aaliyah with 1A. Mm-hmm. We got Aaliyah with 1A at UConn. Right? No.
I think she's 2 A's.
I don't know how to spell. So, do we think AA or A? The better name.
Well, right now, I've got single A and a runaway.
Okay.
But that could all change. I mean, Aaliyah Edwards, we just kind of saw the beginnings of what she could be last year. So, who knows? I mean, she could take over as the dominant Aaliyah this coming year.
Aaliyah, R&B legend.
Of course, R.I.P. R.I.P. to Aaliyah. It's just a solid name, a great name for sports right now. Aaliyah's. Keep an eye out for it. I've got another softball tailing. I talked about this last week. but I was all by myself, and I want to hear if you have thoughts on it and what they are. Jordy Ball.
Yes.
The move of the softball offseason, less than a week after Oklahoma won their second straight title, she was the most outstanding player in the tournament. She was an All-American for the second year, probably the best returning player in college softball, transferring away from Oklahoma to her home state to play for the Huskers in Nebraska. I think she played the NCAA like a fiddle. She did. Yeah. She went to the best team, became the best player, became the player that they couldn't live without. Now she gets to go home, be where she wants to be, dominate in a much weaker Big Ten conference. Probably will easily be the Big Ten player of the year. I'm a huge fan of like her taking control of her career and taking her success and going home with it, and maybe planting more success at Nebraska.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, obviously she loves Nebraska. She has it tatted on her.
Tatted. That's kind of a hard tat. I'm not even from Nebraska, but I'm considering it.
Yeah. So. And you just control your own destiny. I love it from these athletes, especially in college.
Yes.
Where, you don't get really all that much control.
Yeah.
A little bit more now with NIL and transfer portal stuff. But
definitely.
I love it.
And I put Oklahoma on the hot seat last week a little bit.
Ooh.
Because, hear me out, they're still going to be the best team in college softball easily. They're still the best program, best coach. They're returning a lot of players, but they are losing Jordy Ball, their best pitcher, and their second best pitcher, Alex Storako, who is a transfer from Michigan. They're losing her to Women's Pro Fast Pitch. She was the first overall pick in their draft. So they're returning a lot of talent, but their pitching staff can be a little depleted.
Yeah.
And in a softball pitching staff, your top two pitchers are usually your two pitchers. You might have a third person in the rotation, but college pitching staffs are very small, and they're losing their top two arms. So I'm not putting them on the hot seat, but don't expect them to come out and go 60-1 or whatever it was this year, because they're going to be dealing with some new pitchers. And yeah,
they can hit pretty good.
They can hit pretty well. It doesn't really matter if they give up runs, and they'll also probably get the second and third best pitchers from the portal, but they lost the first best pitcher in Jordy Ball. So, tailing a lot of softball, let me hit you some fading. And this should come as no surprise because we seem to fade it every single week. WNBA schedulers just don't know what they're doing. What are we doing? On Wednesday, the lone game of the WNBA slate was a 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time game between the Aces and the Mercury in Phoenix. Now, I think matinee games are cool for those of us who don't have jobs. Could not be this pod. Hardest working pod on the internet.
Yes, sir.
But if you're at home in the middle of the day, which I sometimes am, it's nice to have a basketball game on to watch. But I would not sacrifice my evening game, especially a West Coast game, to have it at 12:30 local time. This thing started, like, people were in their seats at noon in Phoenix for a basketball game. Not a college basketball game, a WNBA game. Really? And it was over by probably 5:30 Eastern Time, and then there were no more games for the rest of the night. Why? Your two most marketable teams, by the way, the Aces and the Mercury, like, those are teams that people will watch on TV.
Yeah, even though the Mercury suck.
They do.
But matinee games are fun for, like, baseball, where they play so many.
Exactly.
You can miss a game.
Exactly. And there are also 30 baseball teams, so there will be 10 more games on after that.
Exactly. W got 40 games.
Yeah.
And you're going to waste one at 12.
You're going to hide one at 12:30 local time.
Especially with the best team in the league.
Right, exactly. You've got all these well-known names, well-known players, people that people are willing to pay to see on a Wednesday while everyone's at work. I mean, who was at that game? That's sure there are a lot of retirees in Phoenix, but like a lot of people are at work.
Only like the Sun could pull off a matinee game.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody. Most of the Sun audience is unemployed because they're retired. So yeah, like, come on, guys. Just think of the teams. Think of the revenue. Think of your own pockets, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about it later, but the Aces Liberty, I know it's a West Coast game. They're playing at 10 on a Thursday. Like, that is the game, right. And it is past my bedtime.
That is not prime time. That is not what we call prime time. I'm the West Coast. Like, sorry guys, you just get early games. You chose to live out there. Gotta think of the East Coast people. So that's a fading. It seems to be a constant fading. I am also fading high school graduation.
Yes, sir.
Hot take. Alyssa Thompson is headed to the Women's World Cup. Just Congrats. 18 years old. They announced the roster this week. 18 years old is crazy to be playing in the World Cup. I mean, soccer is so interesting to me because you can be the best player in the world at 18.
Yeah.
You just can. Like, that would never happen in any other sport. She is, I don't know if she is going to skip her high school graduation or if she skipped her high school graduation for a pro game. I don't know what the situation is, but she's not going to graduation. She's going to the World Cup. And honestly, huge respect for her for hitting prom, but skipping graduation. I'm a party animal at heart, and so is Alyssa Thompson. Respect to that move.
That's the way to do it.
She was like, yeah, I'm going to the party, but the degree, I'm playing soccer. Big respect for that move. And shout out Damon for correcting me. I wrote Alyssa Thomas. I wrote this very late at night.
Who's right?
We talked about the Aaliyahs in sports. One thing that I would like to see make its way to women's sports from men's sports is people having different names from each other. There are a lot of repeat names in women's sports right now. Sure. Just like Alyssa Thomas and Alyssa Thompson. It's not their fault, but like those are very similar names. You don't see like a football player named Clay Thomas walking around. Like people would get confused. And there aren't a lot of repeat names in men's sports, but every time I watch a WNBA game, it's like, all right, these two teams have Parkers, these two teams have Wilsons, these two teams have a combined 3 Williamses. There are a lot of repeat names, and sometimes it gets hard to keep track. So sorry to Alyssa Thompson. You're a rock star. I'm going to learn your name. Get it down pat. Damon, those are my tailings and my fadings.
I like it.
I missed having you here. There's a good rapport. I'm glad to have you back. I'd love to hear, what are you tailing this week?
All right, I have a little bonus tailing real quick.
Woo!
Shout out friend of the pod, Caroline Fitzgerald.
Yeah, true.
Sports,
that's
right. By Ally.
All right,
Ally, you want to come drop a bag on another women's sports podcast?
Facts. We're accepting all sponsorships. Home Field for this t-shirt, Home Field Apparel, sponsor us.
There you go.
We'll talk a lot more Indiana women's basketball.
Well, first of all, shout out Caroline.
Big shout out to Caroline. A top 3 guest of all time.
There you go. Oh, man. Okay, I'm telling Alana Smith. Apparently, when I was gone, the Sky kind of sucked.
The Sky were terrible.
I came back and learned Sky suck, Wings suck.
Yup.
Fever are alright.
Yup.
Everything else, pretty much the same.
Yeah, pretty much as you left it.
Yeah. Alana Smith, though, a bright spot on that Sky team. My MVP favorite, Kalia Copper, not doing too hot. Courtney Williams, I just saw they're on a 4-game losing streak, at least they were. And over that streak, Courtney Williams and Kalia Copper combined for 41 points.
In 4 games is nuts.
That is a weak backcourt.
That's tough.
So the front court had to step up. I'm shouting out Alana Smith. She hooped out of Stanford. Couldn't really find footing in the W. Seems like she found her home.
She's back.
Yep. Elizabeth Williams also.
True.
Looking good this year for this guy.
Another Williams pairing.
There we go.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then Smith, there's got to be a few.
There's a few Smiths. There's a lot of Smiths. That's a good tailing. Alana Smith's kind of a name that I forgot about. Yeah. She's kind of having a resurgence because this guy need her.
Yeah, I go on her hoop stats. I look at most valuable players. And Alana Smith, well, it's by win shares, so you might not care. Alana Smith is up there. She's like a top 25 player.
That's big.
Now by win shares.
That's big.
Even though her team sucks.
They're terrible.
Apparently.
They score like 67 points per game or something. It's terrible. It's terrible. That's a good tailing.
I'm fading the playoffs.
Ooh.
Usually you tail the playoffs, but the W playoffs are so big.
They are.
We got 8 teams making it. There's only 12 teams in the league. Right now, if the playoffs started, half of those teams would be above 500.
That's so crazy. Like, why do we need that? Like, 2/3 of the league making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And only 1/3 of the league has a winning record. Like, it's just dumb. Like, keep the playoffs, expand the league.
Yeah.
Like,
just 12 teams in the playoffs. 8 teams in the playoffs. You just can't have 12 teams in the league.
Have a normal sized league, right? Exactly. So there's only 4 teams that aren't making the playoffs. It just doesn't make any sense.
We talk about the Fever. They're in the playoffs right now with 5 wins.
They are. Going to make the first round of the playoffs very interesting.
better tank for their own sake.
It'd be disgusting.
But like you can tank and make the playoffs.
Right, exactly. And we don't get to have any like real conversations about can this team make the playoffs. It's like anybody can make the playoffs. So they win, a couple games in a row and you're in playoff position.
Yeah, especially with only 40 games. Like you go on a 4-game losing streak, you're kind of screwed.
Big time.
Like the Sky.
Shout out to Sky.
Dropping like crazy.
Shout out to the Sky.
And then the Fever, what was that? 2 games and then another one, not in a row.
Yeah, no, like three in their
last
4, like you're a playoff team. That was a great tailing and fading. It's good to be back. It feels fantastic. We have no idea what Kate is tailing and fading. We'll have to find out next week. Damon, let's talk a little more basketball. Let's get further into it. Let's talk about this weekend slate that we have coming up. So, what is I'll start.
Okay.
Because it looks like you have a sassy comment to make about my thing. Every weekend we do a favorite matchup. I'm pumped to see Mystics and Liberty.
Yep.
I have a big cope alert. I'm taking the copium right now. I'm still high on the Mystics, kinda. I'm kind of medium on the Mystics. The Mystics offense has been very, very bad. They do not score a lot of points, but defense has been good, which has saved them and gotten them a few more wins than they really deserve to have. 6-0
Damn.
when they allow fewer than 70 points, and 1-4 when they don't. So the formula is pretty simple. Don't allow a lot of points because you can't score a lot of points. They have the Liberty is a great offensive team. They held the Liberty to just 64 points in the season opener. Was that a fluke? Maybe. I'm interested to see how the Mystics can take care of the game on defense because that's the only way that they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean you say that, but when teams play good, they generally win.
It's true.
So,
maybe the Mystics should try that one out.
I agree with you though. I don't know if I'm coping too, but I've decided personally, regular season does not matter. So
I mean, everyone's making the playoffs. So what's there even to worry about?
Yeah, all that matters is you make the playoffs, and then the Mystics have a couple very good players.
They do,
so
and they're experienced down the stretch.
Yeah,
I'm still high. I'm still medium. Still very medium.
As long as you make the playoffs, anything can happen.
Exactly.
I really don't care about the regular season.
No, it doesn't matter. It's like statistically, it just doesn't matter. What you got this weekend? What's the game that you have eyes on?
I forgot I was supposed to go. All right. Obviously, I'm looking at that Liberty Aces matchup on Thursday. I think everyone has to be watching it. Mm-hmm. I will watch probably the first half and then go to bed because I'm a sleepy guy.
Bro got a bedtime.
I got to get up early every morning. But that is the matchup. You got to see how these super teams fare against each other.
It would be very interesting. It's very interesting because they have had very different seasons so far. Uh-huh. We had sky-high expectations for both, and the Aces have very much lived up, and the Liberty have showed flashes of greatness, but also have stumbled a lot. So is this going to be a team that can actually knock off the Aces, or are the Aces just the Aces and they're going to run through? That's what we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, in my opinion, the Aces are the Aces.
The Aces look unstoppable, like completely unstoppable.
There you go.
We'll see. Big regular season. What is a player performance that you are keeping an eye on this week?
Aaliyah Boston, Rookie of the Month, gonna be a runaway Rookie of the Year.
Easily.
She was also Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
That's crazy.
Which I feel like I was trying to figure it out how often a rookie wins that.
Can't be often.
Can't be often.
Cannot.
So I think that the Fever played the Aces twice this week.
Yeah, they do.
I think she's gonna fare a little differently against Asia than last time.
Okay.
Asia took her off the court.
Yeah.
In that first matchup, like literally fouled her out.
Yeah.
I think that Aaliyah is gonna show up.
Okay.
And I would not be shocked if. I know I'm just like the biggest Fever guy, just riding the Fever every week. I would not be shocked if the Fever stole one of these games.
Whoa. I actually gave that some thought. Yeah. I'm not bold enough to predict it, but they play them back to back in Vegas. No travel involved. It depends on what they do on their day off. There's a lot of things to do in Vegas. Got to be responsible.
Well, how old is Aaliyah?
Oh, that's true. That's true. She might be 20. I like it. I do think Aaliyah Bossett, like, she improves over time, like, gradually. Yeah. So her second matchup with A'ja Wilson is going to be better. And then that third matchup might be even better than that. Yeah. So they've got 2 chances. I believe Saturday, Monday, they play in Vegas. So it'll be an interesting weekend for the South Carolina alums.
And Dawn Staley.
That's true.
Out in Vegas.
Will she pull up?
She could run Vegas.
Yeah, I picture her at like a blackjack table the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Kind of forgets about the game. My player to watch, it's always a Dallas Wing because they're not very good, but they're so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Like I would much rather watch the Wings lose in exciting fashion than watch the Mystics win in the lowest scoring game you've ever seen. I just love offense. Arike Gumbuwale has become one of my favorite players. She just scores like crazy. And I kind of have like a fake prop for you here, a made up prop. They play the Sparks twice this weekend. Mm-hmm. Sparks team, not so good. Let me give you an over-under. In the 2 games combined, will she have over-under 50 points against the Sparks this weekend?
Combined?
In the 2 games, yeah.
Oh, yeah, easy.
You think so?
Yeah, I was almost going to say she could go for 50 by herself.
Hey, that would be fun to watch. She did get 39 the other day. A career high came against Jewel Lloyd's career high and a Storm win, which is kind of perfect for the Wings season. But yeah, I mean, she averages about 23 a game. Uh-huh. So if she has 2 average games, she'll be in the neighborhood. But she could also go for like 30 and 25 and clear it easily. I think she could have a couple big nights against the Sparks team for sure.
Yeah, and I mean she just got tossed last game.
She did.
In hilarious. But she might come out just with a vengeance.
She might
just come out shooting.
Be on revenge mode. And that's another thing I love about Arike is just a great personality.
Yeah.
Like you need someone who's gonna pump up the crowd while they run off because they got ejected from the bench. Just a hilarious move from Arike, kind of an Antonio Brown moment heading out of the stadium. She's awesome. She's a great scorer, and I think she will eat this weekend against the Sparks.
I agree. 60
combined.
Yeah. Okay. I think she could go. She could go for as many as she wants.
That's true. She's gonna.
If they're up big. They're up big. She's just chilling on the bench. She'll go get tossed again.
That's true. She will probably get tossed.
She wants to get home early.
Yeah, facts. She does not want to stick around to see the end of the game. So while we are on the topic of this Wings Sparks matchup, we have a parlay to build.
Do we even have to?
We have to. We're a sports gambling show. We have to win a bet at some point.
Eventually.
We are down 21, about 22 units right now. We've lost all 4 of our Friday parlays. We keep handing them out. We keep having optimism. And we keep falling flat. Let's do a little 2-legger. Let's not do anything too complicated. Let me hit you with this. Okay, it swung. The Wings were 1-point dogs. Mm-hmm. They're now 1-point favorites tonight against the Sparks. I like that number. I like them to win, so I like them to win by at least 1.
Great point.
What do you think of that?
I like that too. I was about to come on here and say that the Sparks have owned me all season because I said they were going to be bad. I'm not ready to admit it yet. So I do like the Wings -1.
I still think the Sparks are pretty bad.
I think they're very bad.
I think that they're bad.
They
played a lot of worse teams.
Yeah.
They get a lot of Lynx, a lot of Storm on there, a lot of Mercury on there.
Yeah. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. And you got to be pretty bad to not make the playoffs.
You got to be real bad. You got to be bottom 3rd. I like the Wings by 1. That's going to be our first leg.
I think so.
It's at -115 right now. That's fine. Wings -1. How about from our other game? Liberty and Dream.
Oh, man.
The Liberty are 8-point favorites.
Yes. And the Dream are hot.
The Dream are pretty good. The Dream are not bad.
I don't know.
Do we like them to cover this spread?
I have no clue. 8. Yeah, I think
8 points is a lot.
8. Dream plus 8. I think this game is gonna be. You're gonna be sliding.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I can see Liberty by like 3 or 4 would be my official prediction.
Dang.
It's in Atlanta too, so the Dream play well at home. I like it.
All right.
I like it. I feel good. Let's go Wings -1, Dream plus 8. That's a cool 2-legger.
Nothing crazy.
Plus 256. Nothing too crazy. You can trust us with this. We're gonna get back. We're gonna build back to 0. We're gonna try to
on the board.
build back to even by the end of the season. We want to see one go through the hoop. So Dream plus 8, Wings -1, and then we start a streak. Let's leave it at that. That is our bet in the W TGI Friday parlay. Bet at your own risk, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I say just fade us.
Maybe it might work.
Fade us.
You might be doing really well if
There
you've
we
been
go.
fading us all season long. So
Libs -8.
you could-
Sparks +1.
you could do that very easily. No feast or famine this week because there's no feast. I didn't have time to think of like an alternate for you, like Damon, some sort of pun for your name. It's not as easy. No feast or famine. No player. Do you have a player prop that you have an eye on? Or should we say, I guess...
Well, let's see. I'll check. I'll take a peek.
I kind of like... I still haven't decided what my walk-off pick is going to be, full disclosure.
I'm looking at that Alicia Gray 17.5. I think that's doable.
She's been a very surprising, like, solid scorer every night.
Yeah. Let's see what the assists are looking at. Oh my God, Jordan Kane or Odyssey Sims are your options.
Who knows, dude? Who knows? That's the thing about the Sparks is like, who knows? I don't feel confident betting on them to do anything.
So what team was Odyssey was on the Wings.
Yeah.
She just got waived.
Yeah.
Is she even on the team still?
I don't know. I can't keep up with all the transactions.
Yeah. My player prop I have my eye on, Alicia Gray, 17.5.
Okay.
Going over.
Okay.
There
I
we
like
go.
that. Give me Natasha Howard over 7.5 boards.
Ooh.
We'll take that. Alicia Gray and Natasha Howard, big nights. Those are our substitute feast or famines. The knockoff feast or famine. So roll some dice.
Let's do it.
So, for those of you that have not been watching for the last few weeks,
You're
we
lost.
have been. Did Kate win again last time?
I think so. Kate just doesn't like this.
Kate is really good at the dice, so it's good that she's not here.
Yeah.
We have been rolling dice. We roll 3 dice, then 2 dice, then 1,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a player stat line that we assign to a player to have in a game this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Last weekend, I was so dumb. 17, 7, and 5, and I was like, oh, Enrique will have 17 points again. She never stays under 20 points for 2 games in a row. She went for 35 points. That's easily my worst pick yet. Kate nailed the points somehow. 9 off on the boards. Satu Salvi had a lot of rebounds, and then 3 off on the assists. So Kate nailed hers. We were both off. I was very off, but I nailed the assists. 5 assists. So
Yeah, and I was just off on everything.
now it's gonna be one-on-one. Damon has won 1. I have never won this game. So
Let's keep it that way.
let's with Kate out of the game for this weekend. Let's see it. You do 3, and then I'll do 2 and 1.
Another big number.
15.
15.
15. Okay. 15 is big. Give me your points. 2 and 1. 3. 15, 3, and 2. Huh. Ew. So this is kind of
This is a yucky one.
like a high-ish points, low everything else.
Take 2.
Slight technical difficulties on that. We are now re-recording. We had 15, 3, and 2. Those are the dice rolls. I picked Jonquil Jones, 15 points, 3 assists, 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm. And I went with Jackie Young, 15, 3-2 traditional line.
Yes.
Straight across the board. And we're both looking at that matchup, that head-to-head.
Yes, we decided that we were going to go up against one another for this week. The big game between the Liberty and Aces.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the stat lines that we are predicting for JJ and Jackie Young. So you missed the deliberation, but that's probably the most boring part of the whole show. So that's all right. You probably are appreciating the express pass. We're going to hit you with some walk-off picks before we send you off into the weekend.
Sure.
So the standings, I got a dub last week. Kate and I went head-to-head. Fever beat the Lynx, I believe. So I am sitting at 9-13. Kate is at 8-14, and you're chilling at my inverse, 13-9. Always evenly balanced out. So I'm looking to continue a winning streak. It's not a winning streak until you get 2. So I want to get one back-to-back. You're bouncing back. What's your pick for the week?
So I'm going to be in attendance for Sun Sky on Sunday.
Okay.
And they call it Sunday for a reason.
Whoa. I didn't even think about that.
I'm liking Alyssa Thomas.
Yep.
I got AT going for a triple-double.
I like Alyssa Thomas to do anything. I mean, it seems like anything. It seems like every time the Sun play, she is at or near a triple-double.
Yeah.
She had a near triple-double in the first half in one of the games earlier this week. So
Yeah. And we talked about that Sky front court. She's going to be dishing it out.
yeah.
She could get 10 points easy.
Yeah. She's going to have them
See
in
about
a
the
wind
boards.
turbine.
Here we go.
She is going to have them lost.
Yep.
That Sun offense is so good. And it's so evenly distributed, too. But AT's still doing everything.
Yes, sir.
I had a long deliberation. I could change my pick now if I wanted to. But I'm riding with what I said. I like Nneka and Gwumake to get 20.5. But I feel better, and I like the value better on Brianna Stewart to get 25.5 points. So I'm going Stewie over 25.5. It's plus 120 on DK. I like a good value pick. Brianna's liable to go for 30 any day of the week, so why not do it tonight in Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
I got Stewie going for 25.5.
I love it.
So those are our walk-off picks.
Hopefully you can leave Kate in the dust.
Yes, big time. Now this is going to be in my rearview mirror.
Yeah, we're going to have to give her 2 picks.
Yeah, true. So you got to bounce back. Those are our walk-off picks. We thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a full desk. We'll have some feast and famine for you.
Hopefully.
We'll have who knows. But
we're running from the grind.
we'll be back here, one big happy family. Thank you for tuning in. Be well.